Hi everyone, this is Cynthia from Cynlop Inc. And today in this video I'm going to go over the new iPad Pro 12.9 third generation that I have here, and I'll be comparing it with the second gen that I have on this side. First things you can notice, they did shrink it a little bit, about 25% overall. Previously with the first and second they were about 12 inches for the height, and now they reduced it to about 11 or so. A little bit off this side, and now I'll turn it over to the side so you can see the difference there. Okay, so we have more of a rounded edge on the previous model. The newer model is a bit of a sharper edge. Also, we have the addition of this magnetic surface here. This is to charge the brand new Apple Pencil, which I'll go over in just a moment. All right, we still have the Apple logos in the back, and I will notice notice the difference here with the camera. It does protrude a bit, but I haven't noticed any issues when laying it flat on the table with any rocking or anything. I do use it a lot of times when I'm just, have it in my lap or whatnot, and of course that's fine, no interference with that. All right, also, another change that we have is facial recognition has been added to the new iPad Pro. Previously, you have to use a fingertip. If you're not familiar with that, like if you have another type phone that started with like the iPhone X, so they have integrated that now with their newer model phones and also the iPad Pro. All right, so previously you had to put your fingertip here and that would unlock it. Now when you walk up to the steps, it'll just have you kind of move your face around and get all of that. So basically you hold the iPad Pro somewhat at an angle. If I have it laying flat like this and I'm not really in front of it, of course it's not going to read it. But other than that, it has been fine. I'm actually liking the facial recognition a lot better than the fingertip fingerprint one, because if I had anything on my finger or didn't have it on there quite right, like I was doing it too quickly, it wouldn't read it. But so far this has been okay. Now let me go over the Apple Pencil. So this is the brand new second generation one. This is the first one. Try to get there. If you have one already, then it's a pretty slick surface. It's a little bit shiny. You have to remove the cap to charge it, and you just plug it into the bottom and keep it in there basically until it's charged. With this one, it has a matte finish, which I'm actually finding after using it for a little while now. I prefer the finish of this one. This one feels better in my hand. I also like this flat surface that's integrated with the double tap feature, which I'll go over in just a moment. But overall, it's about the same size. Well, they reduced it here, of course, because they removed the cap. So it's a very slight difference there. Tips are exactly the same. So if you already own an Apple Pencil and replacement tips, they should work just fine. Okay. Now let me show you how you actually charge this. So you just take the flat surface of the Apple Pencil, line it up, and that'll pop up telling you how much basically battery is left in there. The great thing about it is when you're not using it, just leave it on your desk or wherever you keep your iPad, put the Apple Pencil attached, and it's always going to be ready to go. I was absolutely terrible, being quite honest, at keeping this one charged. I would basically put my iPad down quickly and would forget to leave it there. Plus I was paranoid. So if you have a child who is a bit curious and you leave this one charging and you have it, sticking out there like on the edge, or if anyone walks by, they can easily just fling it right off, and that's going to get damaged. So take that out there. All right, so let's see here. The other very, very cool feature, which I'm absolutely loving, is, let me just put this one to the side for just a moment, is the addition of the button that's programmable. Depending on the app, you can program it to do different functions. In Procreate, hold on, let me go to a new layer here. All right, so in Procreate, if I can show you right there, we're gonna look right there. When you double tap it will actually move between the current brush you're using and the eraser tool. So I'm really liking that feature. Although you can, quite honestly, you can set, if you go into your preferences here, gesture controls, there is a way to do a gesture to set the eraser, but I was absolutely terrible because then I forget which one I was doing, and it was just not working out for me. So I never quite was able to use a gesture control with that. So, because I just found that I wanted to just quickly come over here and do things and select the option I'm needing. But with this, let me just draw something here. That's way too big. All right, so I've drawn something there. I need to make a change. Double tap. Okay, double tap again. I can go back to my brush. Now I'm back at the eraser. So that is very, very useful. Excuse me. So a lot of people would like that. I mean, if you're good with the gesture controls, I would say that would be a positive towards the previous one, of course, to save money, because that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. Now we went from, I actually had this one is a 64 gig. I went ahead and got the 256 because I was finding there were certain files. I was really good about putting stuff on my Dropbox and whatnot, but there were certain files that were larger that would kind of get hung up. So I figured if I'm going to update it, I might as well go ahead and get the larger size. 64 gigs starting with this one. I believe when I got it was $7.99. And this one, the starting price, they reduced, they actually made the starting price more. It's $200 now for the 64 gig starting price for the newer model. Some things to compare if you're okay with the magnetic, if you're already using that and you're used to it, it's $200. I mean, that's a significant amount of money. So it's totally up to you. If you're willing to pay the $200 for the, you know, the additional Apple features of keeping it charged basically at all times when you have it there, the addition of the programmable button, the reduced size, I'm actually, even though it's only an inch, it still feels a little bit nicer. I would say with holding it in my lap and whatnot, it's a good size. And I do kind of like that there's, I wasn't sure if I was going to get used to the white, but I'm actually now liking, I find it's a little bit less distracting. I like the all black bezel around. So it's things to consider what's important. If you could care less about the larger bezel, I would say save that money and, you know, go for the 12.9 if you can get one. They are not going to be selling, if I'm aware, they're not going to be selling the 12.9 second any longer, but I'm sure some stores will still carry it. So you may be able to get a really good deal. They will still be selling the 10.5 inch. In the previous model, this one also comes in 11 inch. So I would say to go to a store and compare the two sizes and see. Now, if you already presently have one of these, as you can see the screen, I would say I've noticed, and I'm not sure if it's just this one or if that's actually the way it is, but it's a tiny bit warmer. But I would say the clarity of the screen is just as good on both. They're about the same to me. How they run, so far it's a little bit, I would say it's a little bit quicker. It's not anything like, oh wow, what a huge difference. It is slightly quicker, but to me the biggest thing was getting the larger size, and also you know, I needed to update for that. But the Apple Pencil feature alone, because like I said, I mean, I can't even express enough how bad I was at keeping the Apple Pencil charged. But this alone, this feature, and I much prefer the feel of this Apple Pencil. Like I said, the workaround with this one, if you want to get a cover for it, like one I have here, that you just basically slip this in, or you can get the fingertip kind of comfort cap things. I can't even think of what they're called, but they're made for regular pencils, and you basically, it's like a little rubber grip that you place on here. That's a great workaround. That's what I've used for the longest. So, you know, that works out quite well. So if you're able to, you know, spend the extra money and get it, by all means, because you're future-proofing yourself. I mean, this is the latest and greatest one. This one is one behind. So, you know, I would say if you're able to, then do it. But if you're really anxious to get creating and you don't have one at all, I would say, you know, save the money and get this one, because it's still just as good. You probably, you know, won't really, if you've gone from drawing on paper to drawing in this, I say it's a very, very, very good compromise and to save that money. But if you're able to get it, I would say get this one, because I'm really digging this one also. So hopefully that kind of helps out. Explain some of the differences between both. If there's anything, I'm hoping I got as much as I could recall. And but if you have any questions, just drop me a line and drop me a comment or send me an email, and I'll try to answer it as best I can. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great day.